And that takes us to Fromage. Cheese! And this is the limited edition. Don't actually know. I wonder what's different. I kickstarted this, unless this is the only edition they have. I can't see what else. Anyway, Fromage. Fromage is a delightful Euro-style game that is simultaneous. And that is unusual and super welcomed. So, the game is, at the moment, because there's an expansion coming and they're going to add, at the moment, there are essentially four mini games, four wedges that make up a circular board in the center of the table. Four wedges. And each wedge is a different mini game. And each mini game is essentially, if I'm placing my different types of cheese, which I have it's worker placement. I have my workers, they can each place a different type of cheese, and the cheeses can each be of a different age. So there are 3 different types of cheese, and they can each be of 3 different ages. Bronze, silver, gold. Gold being aged the longest and the most valuable. So I'm placing my workers out, and it's essentially set collection. In each of the 3, well, that's not true, I guess. One of them, maybe a couple of them are kind of like set collection. I want to have cheese of a certain type at the same table as another piece of cheese of a particular type. I want to be at the same table in the bistro. So one of those wedges is like I don't know if that's what it's called, but let's just say the bistro. And there's all these different tables, and I want to have a pair of cheeses on the same table. All right? And the number of pairs that I have on, let's say, different tables will multiply my score in the bistro at the end of the game. That's that mini game. Then another one is the villas. I'm in French. I think I'm saying it wrong, but I've been told to say it's V. Anyway, the villa, the via, V. It's essentially area control. There's different regions, and you're going to place your cheeses out on the borders of these different regions, like you're setting up stands that influence the different regions that you want those regions, the population from the regions to come to your stand and get your cheeses. But if my opponents place enough out affecting or influencing the same region, then they might win out on that area control. And there's special people or VIPs in each of the regions. That's what you're really trying to do, is influence them and get their business, and they are worth points at the end of the game. That's that wedge. Another wedge is I think shelves in a storefront, and you want to have your cheeses on different shelves. So it's again more set collection. And the last one, I think, was like a fair, like a farmer's market kind of fair, and you want to have this one. You're placing cheeses out that you want to have adjacent to one another, creating like a string of adjacent cheeses. And the more in a string of adjacency, the more points you'll get there. So essentially, it's a lot of set collection in different forms, plus the area control one. Now, the unique mechanisms in this game, though, are the fact that it's simultaneous. So if it's a 4-player game, each of us are staring at one of those wedges. And I have three workers, and each turn I can place 2 workers out into the wedge. And let's say I can place one on the middle, the very middle of the board is like just if you want to get resources. And then, but the main part, the mini game part, is where you really want to place a worker to drive that set collection, like where my cheese is going to be in the bistro or on this area control board. So I can place 1 to get resources and 1 in the area. And then the board rotates. It's a circular board, and you do set it up with a special little wooden circular peg in the middle so that the whole board can easily rotate 90 degrees. And now I'm staring at the wedge that was previously to my right. It now just shifted in front of me. Now my workers that I placed are over there. They're not. Now I only have 1 worker in front of me. When do I get those workers back? When they face me. So as the board rotates, well, these pieces are rotating as well. And remember I mentioned the different ages of the cheese, bronze, silver, gold. Bronze, when you place a worker out and it's for a bronze cheese of one of the 3 types of cheese, doesn't matter. There's brie, soft cheese, hard cheese, I think. Was it brie? I forgot what the third one was. In any case, if I place a bronze aged cheese piece out, as soon as that board rotates, my worker, I can see his face from over there to what's now my left. I can see his face. His face is looking at me. That means I get him back. Because bronze ages after just 1 round. So I immediately just took him back and I had my other worker. Those are my 2 workers now that I can place in this one. Well, let's say that I want to place these 2 in such a way that I want a silver cheese, which is going to age for 2 rounds, and a gold cheese, which is going to age for 3 rounds. Now when I rotate the board, those 2 workers, they're not yet looking at me. They're looking in different directions because they are not yet ready. They're still aging those cheeses. Now I only have that one last worker, which maybe I place out here. I can't do another action. I don't have another worker. Now the board rotates again. And now the silver one, I said, which aged 2 rounds, he's now facing me. I get him back. Okay, now I have a worker. And maybe the one that I placed last round, I place in a bronze way, so he comes right back to me. So the choices that you make about how long the different cheeses are going to age for in these different mini games absolutely matters. It's going to determine when you get your workers back. And it's just so easy because it's like, do I see their faces? Are they staring back at me? And it's really fun. Really clever simultaneous mechanism there with the aging and the way those workers will come back to you as soon as they can see you, as soon as you're looking at their faces. Because otherwise, if it's not their face, then you're just looking at their side or their back or something. As far as fiddly-factor goes, the game setup, I would call it low fiddly-factor. You do have to set up this rotating board. You have to put inserts into the 4 wedges based on the number of players in the game. Make sure you're doing the right side. There's some other tokens that you just need to set up in different little piles. And I didn't even talk about the fact that there's a player board and resources and different things you can do on the player board with raising cattle to have fresh milk that you can make bonus cheeses from. You can build structures which give you like permanent bonuses. You can make fruit and jam and wine, fruit and jam at least, to go with the cheeses in some case. Sometimes when you place a piece of cheese, it has to have a piece of fruit to go along with it. So you have these different resource tokens on your player board on the side, which just adds more, another layer of choice and strategy, I guess, to the overall experience. So setting up, there's some stuff there to set up, but not much at all. Just low level, just enough to certainly warrants the game experience that you're going to have. Gameplay fiddly-factor is actually none. I mean, it's just so elegant. Rotate the board, everyone takes their turn simultaneously. That's it. I mean, the first turn or 2 we ever played, we narrated it. We did it turn-based, just so everyone can understand how the different mini games worked and what our thinking was. But from there, simultaneous. I take my turn, you take your turn. Now, you might say, well, then does that mean there's no player interaction? I think there actually is a really fair amount of player interaction here, because once the board, rotates to me and I'm looking now at the area control and I see, okay, 2 opponents are influencing this region. I could get this cheese right here, which is at the intersection of 3 regions. And if I get that one, then now I have influence in 3 areas. And then next time around, maybe I can add 1 more and that will secure this region. And then I'm already influencing 2 others. That's directly based on the choices that other players have made. Or in the bistro where I want to be on the same table, maybe this is the round where what I do is I place my worker so that there's a cheese on one table, and then I use the cattle and I use the milk, the bonus cheese that I can get from milking the cattle, and I immediately place that so I have the pairing that I want at one of those bistro tables. And now when that goes to the next player, that's blocked off. They can't add a cheese to that table because I already have that pairing. So there is I guess it's indirect player interaction, but it turns into direct player interaction as the board is constantly rotating around, since everyone's pieces are in the way. So yeah, no fiddly-factor in terms of playing the game. Pimp potential, could there be a better Lazy Susan? I thought that the one that came in here was perfectly adequate. I had heard, in fact, they have an expansion, which I have coming. I kickstarted that as well. It's called Fromagio. So instead of France-based, I think that one's Italy-based. And it will add more mini games that you can just add in and then choose which 4 of the mini games will be part of your wedge or your circle for the game. But I think what they added to that campaign is a better Lazy Susan. Somehow that it's supposed to rotate easier, better, or stand up better, or something like that. None of us actually understood why there's any angst over the one that came in here. It worked really well, like surprisingly well. It didn't slide around the table, it just rotated. So I don't know how better it can get, but I guess some people want a better Lazy Susan. And I do think that the expansion will add life to this. I think it's some much deserved extension of life, because I think as you play this enough times, the 4 mini games might start to feel samey. Like, yep, it's the same 4 mini games. And yes, there's different player boards, and they each have slightly asymmetric starting, structures. And yes, there's a module where you can have advanced structures that we draft at the start of the game, and we did that in the last game that we played, and I really like it. But I could see it becoming a little samey after a while. Now, if Fromagio adds 4 new mini games, and you can mix and match, so now there's 8, and any given game will have any 4 of those 8, I think that's going to be a very welcomed and appreciated extension of the game's life. So looking forward to that. Solid 8.5. This is a great Euro game experience that doesn't take more than an hour to play, and it's simultaneous and everyone's always playing and you're not waiting for turns. Fantastic experience for having that kind of Euro style in a very approachable and a charming theme. The cheese making is just obviously a very unique, kind of down-to-earth, fun, charming style game. So that is Fromage.